was experiencing tremendous hearing loss, and I was going deaf in my 20s, and I didn't know what the heck was happening. And it was one of the scariest, most discombobulating experiences of my entire life, and continues to be so. And I just came to the medicine path because the Western world told me that I was incurable and there was nothing I could do about it, and I was going deaf. And I just could not receive that diagnosis. Like, there was something in my being, in my belief, in my imagination, that was like, this isn't the truth with a capital T, this is one truth. And so I went on the inquiry of how can I heal this experience for myself? And it took me on a really deep road of like, where am I not listening? When am I not actually listening when people tell me their name when I walk into a party? Where am I not listening when someone's sharing with me a story and my consciousness is fragmented out into a different place, and I'm listening just enough to stay in the conversation and respond with certain cues, but I'm actually not paying attention? Where am I not listening to the cyclic natures of my body and my own moon cycle and what it is that I'm releasing every single month? Where am I not listening when I'm tuning in with somebody's experience and their energetic field and tuning into my intuition that's telling me actually this is a red flag beyond appearance? Where am I not listening to my intuition that is every time I listen to it, it gets stronger, and why am I not honoring that? It took me into a wellspring of questions that I really started to unpack over a series of time. And what I actually learned over this past decade with my hearing journey is that the shamanic path is about listening beyond the ears, but it's with the entirety of your being, and it's available to everybody. But we're so attached to our five senses that we don't give it enough credit to listen to our extrasensory perception. And what I've learned is empathy isn't just, oh, I feel your emotions. Empathy is, I am inside your experience and I'm processing your emotions with you. That is actually the highest form of empathy. And so what my hearing loss, I would actually like to say hearing gain, what it actually did was energy is not created nor destroyed, it only changes in form. And so when I was no longer hearing, I was exponentially feeling emotions. It's not about the words. People say it's about the energy behind the words. We want to actually learn to listen to that. And so what it took me into was, while I was on my own healing path, I started noticing that there was this gift that was moving through me, and it didn't feel like me. But I was invited into spaces, thanking my previous teachers, that there was a healing mat. And in the healing mat, it was a space where they would place somebody that was going through it in the middle, and you would be invited, if you could, send your attention, intention of loving sphere into that person. And the power of collective attention, intention, I watched miracles happen. I watched people heal. I watched people access grief that they hadn't been able to access since they were 6 years old, to genuinely actually heal through it. And what was happening was then I was called forward to actually start doing work on people. And when my heart was fully activated and I felt an immense amount of unconditional love for that person, could be a complete stranger, that was my green light to offer that love. And so what happened was I started to tap into a gift that was moving through me that had no logical sense. I was like realizing that if I pressed here and then blew over here, and it would create this electrical circuit that was happening in somebody's energetic field. Now, I didn't train in this, but yet there was a memory that was reactivated me that feels lifetimes deep. And so over years of learning to trust myself in these spaces, to learn to trust something beyond myself, and to create a very intentional prayer that allows what was moving through to be of only unconditional love, then I started watching miracles happen, and I started watching people genuinely heal. And instead of attaching myself to the logical aspect of what the heck am I doing, but actually allowing myself to receive the outcome, and the outcome was genuine healing, then the question, instead of being like, what am I doing? It was, who am I not to offer this when the space and the invitation and the surrendering has presented itself? Because 50% of it is me, but 50% of it is the receiver. The trust, the openness, the willing, the surrender, you went to the healing mat and your entire body just went, and fully in the receiving. And that could also have been jet lag, but also like, there was like a part of you. 50. Yeah. She dead, bro. Are we good? Are we good? She's just come from Antarctica.
Too tired to fight, healing.
Must surrender. Shamanic lady.
It is that, and a practiced openness and a practiced willingness to surrender. Yeah.
It's it's 50%. Like, that is so much of the healing. And I think that I don't know if I would say that I'm even doing the healing, but I would say that I'm reflecting back the beauty that you already are so that you can heal yourself through rewriting the story, because rewriting the story around what is happening is the ultimate path to freedom. When you rewrite the narrative of who you actually are, recognizing just by being alive, you're inherently worthy. So there's clearly a story that has been picked up somewhere along the way that has proven otherwise, which is rooted deeply in an illusion. So if all I did was just sort of sit there and genuinely see the magnificence and the beauty of you without even saying a word or raising a finger, that's already enough. And that's what it means to hold space, I believe. It's not to sit there and be like, someone's going through a process and be like, hey, what the fuck is this woman doing? But smiling. That's not holding space. You're judging the shit out of someone. Like, it's actually counterproductive. But if I'm sitting there and you're going through an emotional purge or a process, and I'm just like, wow, this person is so beautiful, even in their sacred shit, even in their sacred crunchy, that's holding space. And that's available to everybody. And so I believe that my hearing game, I would like to call it, has gifted me the opportunity to listen more than most, even if I don't fully have my hearing. I'm at about 70% decreased in both my ears. And so even public spaces are really, I get a lot of social anxiety. If someone comes up and talks to me, even if I want to talk to them, I have like an experience of like social anxiety. But when I put myself in the right frame where I'm in the shamanic space where there's no bullshit and there's no masks, I feel like I can breathe. I feel like the world's really noisy and there's a lot of projections and there was a lot of masks that are facading something much deeper. And I've been given a gift that's like a bullshit filter. And also in the same breath, being able to serve and just reflect the beauty that you are is one of the greatest gifts and makes everything make so much sense. And so it got to the point where I was in my hearing experience where at the beginning I just didn't know how to tap into the never-ending amount of grief that was available. That was just so much sadness around what was happening. But I've managed to get to a point where I've actually been on my knees and I've cried in gratitude for it, because it's given me access to a realm that I don't know if I would have had access to before, but it's bestowed within it a lifetime of wisdom and gifts that will continue to be the gift that keeps on giving. And this current situation or this conversation is one of the instances of it.